What's going on, guys and gals? Chris, the Bonafide Hustler, coming to you live from the inside of my office, and today is episode number 3, Bonafide Q&A, where basically I answer your questions, or most of your questions that have come on these 3 avenues: YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. So anyways, that's pretty much what the show is going to be about. It can go from all different sorts of, it could be eBay, it could be Amazon related, it could be, if you want to talk about fitness, that's cool. We can talk about foods to eat, which some of these questions have that. But yeah, we have 13 comments from Facebook. We have a good amount from Instagram and some from YouTube. So we can kind of get right to it. But anyways, before I get to it, I'm a part-time reseller out of Austin, Texas, and I basically buy and resell used items predominantly, and I put them on places like eBay and Amazon, Craigslist, Facebook, Marketplace, things like that. I find these items typically at thrift stores and garage sales. If you watch my vlogs, you know exactly what I'm all about. But anyways, please subscribe and hit the like button. So, all right, we'll go into Facebook first and see what these comments are. I've seen some of them, but I haven't rehearsed anything. I haven't thought. I'm not going to answer every single question, but I'll answer the ones that I can answer. So, okay. So let's talk about the first one, Frank Garza. In fact, hold on real quick. Okay, so because this is going to be in relation to that question, what camera do you film with and what video editing software do you use? So a lot of the vlogs that I film with come from these 2 cameras. Let me bring them over here. The ones that are filmed during the weekdays are filmed with something that's a little bit more covert that can fit in a pocket, shorts pocket, pants pocket, even like a lapel jacket pocket or a lapel pocket on a jacket, something like that. But anyways, something small like this. This is an ELPH 110 HS. It's actually a relatively old camera, but it does the job and it's really awesome. There is a comparable model called the 320 HS, which has a touchscreen back, but I kind of like having the actual buttons there for record and all that kind of stuff. And as a vlogger who wants a really good camera in a pinch, that's not necessarily like your cell phone, this is going to be the one that you're probably going to want to buy. It's called an ELPH 110 HS. So if you want to vlog a little bit, I'd probably start with something like this. Now, you can get these things for like 40 to 80 bucks on eBay or pawn shops. This one was one of the very first ones I bought at a pawn shop for $70 about 4 years ago. It's cracking at the top, and I even have a replacement one that I bought at a pawn shop for $17. Once this one breaks, I'll be going to that one. But it's a really good camera in covert situations, so you don't get busted when you're filming. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I have not done a sound check or anything like that, but hopefully you can hear me. Let me know if you can. The one I film on the weekends with all the ride-alongs and stuff like that, that's this one right here. Is a Canon G7X Mark II. Now this camera will run you somewhere between $450 on the used market all the way up to $600 new. That's what this thing is. This thing is an awesome camera. I've been asked more times where the footage comes from this camera when it's shot with this camera than any other camera that I use. So it's a very good camera for the money, and I just think it's a really good buy. Not a good buy, but a good buy, you know? So that's what I film with. It's not what I shoot my eBay pictures with or anything like that. I have a different camera for that. What's the video editing software that I use? It's called Final Cut Pro X. It's a Mac-based software. So anyways, hopefully you guys can hear me. Okay, good. Let's talk about this one from Bralco. Okay, Bralco is not even a question. It's just like a remark saying, I hope I'll be in time to see this Q&A. Keep up. I love what you do. Great knowledge, and keep up the great videos. So thank you, Bralco. Bralco and I talk behind the scenes every now and then. Marco de Artola. I think this is Marco I'm thinking about. I think he might live in Austin. Okay, how do you protect against returns selling electronics? So one of the easiest ways you can kind of protect a little bit against returns is to pad the item correctly and to take really accurate pictures. And if the item is, let's say, like a boombox or a tape deck and one of the sides isn't working or something like that, disclose that. Obviously, you never want to be misleading. But after that, almost every single electronic has some sort of identifying scratches or marks, or maybe a dented speaker grill, or even a serial number on the back. Now, anytime I get into higher end electronics that can't sell locally but have better chances on eBay, I will be taking a picture of that specific serial number on the back, and I put that in my listing as like the actual 12th picture will be that serial number. And sometimes if I'm feeling extremely weary, I'll be putting that serial number also in my description of the item as well. I think that's as much as you can do, padding it, taking awesome pictures, being truthful, and taking down the serial number and putting that in your listing, that's the most that you can really do at that point. And that's when I talk about eBay. Like bigger electronics, typically I don't ship them off to Amazon or anything like that. Amazon's really good for like smaller type electronics. But the bigger ones, I deal a little bit more with eBay, if I do, because the local market is still really good here as well. Okay, what's going on to all the people in the feed? I see you guys out there. All right, Sean Francis, when you buy shoes to resale, do you ever buy shoes that the bottom has any wear on them? Thanks for your time and knowledge. It's much appreciated. So yeah, Sean, I do have a shoe guide called Shoes to Bucks, which discusses so much about the condition of an item and all that kind of stuff in regards to shoes, obviously. All kinds of stuff are in Shoes to Bucks. It's an enormous guide. I do urge you to get it. It doesn't, I'm not saying that because it benefits me. I'm saying it because I can give you an answer here, but the shoe guide is really just what you need to really understand the shoe game. So you can check that out down below. But do I ever buy shoes where the bottom is worn? Yeah, I do. And a lot of times if it's like super worn, it'll be something like a boot or something that can be resold. Do I ever buy boots or shoes that have any wear on them? Yeah, all the time. Maybe 5% of what I buy is actually brand new, maybe even less. So I do deal with wear and tear on a weekly basis when I am shipping shoes off. But yeah, I do suggest get the guide. I spent many months, building this thing, and I put everything in there that you need to know. Okay. This is coming from the feed right now. I'm gonna go into the feed for a second. Hey, bro. Where would you say are good places to source shoes? All right, so garage sales and thrift stores are like the two best places. Obviously, thrift stores on half days, or if you have a coupon or things like that, that's where I find most of my stuff. Swap meets as well. You can find some good shoes there. Chris Porosky, which brand did you have high hopes for and bought it, but it had little interest and it never sold? Thank you very much. There's some bag brands out there that I had high hopes for, like Eddie Bauer. Like, it's just not that good. Like, even the composition of like an Eddie Bauer bag, most of them really suck. I'm trying to think of another bag brand that kind of sucks as well. Not Duluth. There's another one that's like really, it's built well. It's just no one cares about it, So yeah, that's one of the things about being a reseller, is to understand what the market wants and not what you want or what you deem as like really good quality construction. Because if the market's not there for it, it doesn't matter what you're holding in your hand. It doesn't matter what you think about this zipper versus like that zipper. It doesn't matter at all. What matters is what the people are willing to buy. Yeah, because for example, you could be looking at the best run company, a small company, but if the product sucks and no one wants to buy the stock, then it doesn't really matter, at that point. So there are plenty of amazing companies that are run well that have stock prices that don't do anything, So the market is the dictating factor here. It's the variable that, when it goes up, when the market goes up and people want demand of something on eBay, you should be looking for those things, Desiree Galindo says, I've seen you mention selling the hard bodies off cheap RC cars like New Bright or Nico. What qualities do you recommend looking out for? Okay, so she's referring to these things called crawler bodies. Like if you look on eBay at Nico, Nikko, or New Bright crawler bodies, you'll start seeing that people in the hobbyist field of actual radio-controlled crawler body vehicles will want a better cover for their vehicle. So they go to this like cheap market to find this like really hard plastic cover for their vehicles that make it incredibly scale looking, and it's very durable. So you can basically take the bodies off these radio controlled cars or trucks that you find at thrift stores, certain ones, and you can put them on eBay and they sell between like $50 and let's say $150. Some even sell up to $200. So what qualities do I recommend looking out for? Well, obviously if someone's going to do a trail crawler that's like a scale, like a really good looking one, they're going to probably be messing with like a Jeep or a G-Wagon or a Land Rover Discovery or an FJ Cruiser or something like that. So you want to be looking for off-road vehicles already, like maybe an F-150, something like that. And those are predominantly going to be made by the two companies only. New Bright is one of them and Nico is one of them. The other part of her question says, how can you tell what scale they are? Well, you're going to want to mess with crawler bodies that are typically 19 inches or more. All right, so 19 inches, take a little ruler and measure out 19 inches. And if this body of whatever you're looking at is less than 19 inches, I'd probably say no. But if it's, if it's around 18 and a half, like 19 inches, then that's really important. All the way up to about 23 inches, definitely a resellable item that you can put on eBay. And make sure you put the wheelbase in there as well, because that's really important. The people want to know, like, the wheelbase of their scale crawler versus this body that they're about to buy on eBay. Will it look good when they put the body on the crawler itself? Will it look halfway good, decent? So that's the answer to that question. Okay. Tony Jimenez. Okay, so for keyword, I'm reading right off my phone right here. This is still the Facebook ones. For keyword optimization on eBay, are you talking about in the title? Yes, because that's where it matters the most. Or do you use the words in the description like some people do on Craigslist with the tags? No, I'm talking about keyword optimization in the title specifically. Okay, so keywords are everything on eBay. That's how buyers find your listing. So if your keywords suck, buyers will find it, but it'll take much longer to find it. And for all of us that are resellers, I mean, you kind of want to flip the item as fast as possible. So you have to definitely, treat the title of your eBay listing as a very precious amount of real estate. You don't want to put any stupid words in there. It's also something that I talk about in the Shoes to Bucks guide as well. I talk about keyword optimization in regards to shoes. Okay. Dalen Van Zant says, I've been hitting up the Goodwill clearance where they ring the bell and everyone swarms the place. Okay. I think this is basically the bins. I bought a wakeboard for $4, sold it for $40. Have not had much luck outside of that. I feel like every garage sale I went to last week and most times have hundreds of just old glassware. Is it just me, or is the stuff that people collect just never use, never get rid of? LOL. Yeah, so when you go to garage sales or you go to these places like bins or thrift stores, this is the stuff that people really don't deem as important, right, to them. It doesn't mean it's not important to a market or you. It just means like it's not important to them. So they either donate it or they sell it at a garage sale or a yard sale or something like that. So therefore, I don't know how to really answer this question other than the fact that you got to be as educated as possible to figure out what someone has donated that a market is willing to buy for more money. That is essentially it. I can tell you, I can't give you any more hints than that. I mean, that's pretty much the blueprint of what we do. Is we are educated enough to, in certain niches or many niches, to know what sells for more when we're looking at it for less at a thrift store or a garage sale. We just know the market right off the bat. Okay. What else we got here? We got all kinds of people in the feed. What's up, Jimmy? Good to see you. Kellyanne, not a question, but a remark. Love your YouTube channel with a smiley face. Thank you, Kelly. I love that too. Okay. Patricia D. Knott, what types of clothes do you sell on eBay? I primarily sell like outdoorsy, very gear specific type clothing. So something like just the other day, I bought a Orvis field coat. I don't usually buy jackets for, well, it's not true. I buy down jackets and I buy, wind breaking bike jackets. I buy, motorcycle jackets. I buy all kinds of jackets, but I very much buy specific use type of things that have good markets. There are plenty of motorcycle jackets that don't sell very well, right? I don't pick those up. There are plenty of bike jerseys that I don't pick up. So I pick up typically outdoor wear that has good markets. So the Orvis jacket I picked up the other day was $13, and I believe I could really resell it for 80 to about 120, something like that. That just gives you an idea of the Orvis field jacket. It's called a heritage field jacket. That's just something I saw in a women's section. I found a men's jacket in a women's jacket section, of course, and I will sell it on eBay. That will definitely be an eBay sell. Now I might list it locally as well, just because we have a lot of ranch land here in Texas, and people hunt all the time. And these field jackets are for people that do a lot of brush stuff, or they go hunting like wild game of some sort. So they like these kind of jackets, and they're really, really well built. Oliver G. Crane, should I bring my running shoes to the Green Room meetup? LOL. Austin is a great running town, so you probably do want to bring your running shoes, although the Green Room won't have any sponsored running or anything going on in the morning. We will probably have a kickball tournament kind of thing going on, a What else do we usually have? I usually just go mountain biking behind the scenes in the days preceding and after the meetup, a lot of times with people that, my admin staff, for example. And yeah, but it's a great town for running. So you're going to probably want to bring them because you're going to wish you had once you see the running that's down here. Okay. Wow. I just got a new message from eBay. Got to see what this is all about. Who knows what it is. All right. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay. Let me figure that one out later after the show. All right. So that's basically the Facebook questions. And let's talk about the next ones that are here, which we'll go to YouTube right here. There are 9 YouTube questions. Okay, so Romulo Costa, if you sell part-time or as a hobby on eBay, do you have to claim that money on your taxes? So technically eBay gives you a W-2, I think is what it's called. Yeah. If you have sold over $20,000, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 2,000 items, something like that. It's something around there. So if you don't reach those thresholds, then there won't be a W-2, and you'll basically, it's up to you whether you want to claim that stuff or not, just depends on how you want to do your thing. So it depends on how part-time or hobby you are. I'm part-time and hobby, and I definitely have a form, on eBay for sure. So it just depends how little you do and whether you want to claim that on your taxes. I mean, you should, but some people, if there's no real track record or anything, I don't know. It's a different story. So just something to think about. I'm not going to tell you either way. I make sure to pay my dues on eBay, that's for sure. Juan Soriano, what do you do when a customer bids on one of your items and wins the auction, but 2 to 3 days pass and doesn't pay? Well, after 2 days, you can actually send it, and you can relist your item, and you can do an unpaid or something like that. Plus, I have sent that customer several payment reminders. Do I just cancel the order the 3rd day and relist the item? No, you do a UPI, unpaid item. That's what it's called, UPI. Yeah, you just file a UPI. So basically, at that point, they can still kind of buy the item, which kind of sucks because if you've relisted it, that's one thing. But you can do a UPI, and then after that, there's like a certain amount of days that pass where you can grab back your final value fee, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I haven't done one of those in a while though. I mean, usually my people pay pretty quickly. They usually pay like the second they bought the item. All right, old treasure, new treasure. Do you actually enjoy dopios? I actually do. Yeah, they do. I really like them. Cortados are better for real. Yeah, cortados are basically a doppio with equal parts milk. I like it a lot if I tend to not have much in my stomach that morning, which I've been fasting a lot lately, lately, past 3 or 4 years I've been fasting, my intermittent fasting for my mornings. And dopios don't technically break the fast, but they can hurt your stomach a little bit and make it a little acidic. So a cortado will bring some milk into the picture, and it won't feel as weird. It also depends on if I've had any food in my stomach. Sometimes I'll just eat, but very rarely do I eat in the morning. I usually fast for a while, and I like it a lot. So, okay, what else we got here? Okay, Dan Hotchkiss, thanks, Bonafide Hustler. The increase in USPS fees, is the increase in USPS fees messing with your existing eBay listings? I shipped 3 things yesterday and charged me $35 total for the shipping that ended up paying USPS $50 as an example. So okay, so I guess the question is are you seeing USPS fees messing? Yeah, they're definitely higher. And anytime that things get higher, then the variable that is controllable is the amount that you start asking for an item, which another variable could be you should start reselling higher priced items. Because check this out, if you are reselling shirts for $15 or $20 or $30 and you're finding them for $1 or $2 on average, right? If you can't get that shirt for much less, like a quarter or 10 cents, then the eBay, the thing that cannot be controlled is this USPS shipping fee and all that kind of stuff. That's not controllable. You cannot control that. So basically you're making less money. As that fee goes higher, you're literally making less money if you're not changing your business plan whatsoever. So, if the fees go up 10% or whatever, and your average selling price of an item, let's say, is 30 bucks, then you need to be buying items that can resell for $33 or $35, right? So if my ASP last month was $99, but I know it's going to go down this month for sure because I've been purging out a lot of stuff. And it's just because I've been doing best offer on everything, honestly. But I believe my ASP is going to be in like the 70 range now or something like that. And quite honestly, like, with this USPS fee change and everything like that, my ASP is somewhere around 70 to about 85 typically, okay, right around there. So with this USPS change, one of the two things needs to happen. Either I'm buying my average shoe, which is $10, that needs to be bought $3, right? Because that's 10% of 70. Or I need to be charging, more for items and finding better items. So it's really, really important to understand what's going on. Or the other variable you can control is to just work harder and hire somebody and thrift more with the same, game plan that you've had. You just have to make the same amount of money, you have to turn more items. So there are, I guess, a couple ways that you can really attack it, but the most important thing is if you're just a single person operation attacking eBay and this USPS fee just went up X amount, then your sales price needs to accordingly go up X amount as well, or your buy price needs to go down X amount. That way you can, or X percentage, that way you can absorb this with a wash, right? It doesn't affect you. So anyways, okay, so when you record eBay sales into a spreadsheet, do you only input the net sale or does your sheet calculate fees for you? So you can look up your fees on eBay. It has all the fees per month laid out for you. At the end of the year, I mess with all that. Do I record all my eBay sales into a spreadsheet? I do. I record all my shipping as well into the spreadsheet, so I know exactly what my shipping is by the end of every year. So that's what I do. But for something that calculates your fees and all that kind of stuff, eBay will show you on, you can even look monthly, like what your eBay fees are. I mean, it's pretty easy to see. But you should accordingly factor in somewhere between 10 and 14%. It's typically around 13% of an item's total value that will be split upon an eBay and a PayPal fee. So that's something that you can kind of just roundabout be like, all right, this is roundabout what it is. So if you're selling a $100 item, you can assume that you're already, before you ship it, all right, $87, because $13 is going to go to eBay and PayPal fees. All right, John Haywood, is listing 5 items a day on eBay each day enough to keep sales moving? I think so. I think if you do anything every single day on eBay, you're going to get sales moving, especially responding to messages, responding to offers, things like that. But listing 5 items a day is great. But if you're selling 10 items a day, if you're listing 5 items a day, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. But eventually, you're going to have a problem, right? Which means you're going to have nothing left in your store. So you kind of want to list more than what you technically sell in a given day, or an average what you sell in a given day. And you can look at what your average sales per month is on the eBay seller dashboard, assuming you have a store. And then from there, you can kind of go, okay, I sell an average of 4 items a day, right? So if you really want to grow this business, then you probably want to accelerate by 50%. You want to be at 6 items a day. And that way, maybe your next month, your average, is maybe 5, right? And then you bump to 7 or something like that. So you want to be listing a little bit more than what you sell each day. That way, in a rainy day situation, like maybe you're going on vacation or you're just bummed out, you don't want to list for like a couple of days or something like that. We all go through it. Then you still have a good surplus of items because you've listed more than enough in the past. You have enough to bring you by those rainy, crappy days, or even if you got a snowy week ahead of you or something like that, then really bust your butt, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before that, knowing that on the snowy week, you're not going to be able to source or something. All right, so we got some super chats that have just come in. We got Rhythm J, 999 super chat. I love super chats, guys. Thank you so much. Says, keep at it, man. I love the videos, and I speak for everyone when I say these videos help us and push us to get out and hustle. I know editing is time consuming. Thank you very much. But we appreciate your time and effort. I really do appreciate that because, yes, editing does take a while. And, making hundreds of cuts here and there and optimizing it and this and that, it just takes forever. And then you got to get the keywords right. And it does take a while. It does. It's not easy to put out a video. But it's because I've done it hundreds of times. I think it's easy, but to most people, like I'm about to teach someone at my gym how to do like videos for their yoga channel, and it's just like so over her head. I mean, it's like you can see like she's like, what? I have to do thumbnails and I gotta film and I gotta look awkward in camera and like I do all this stuff and build a storyline of some sort, or and it just gets crazy. It's a lot of work, but I don't see it as much work because I like doing it, but it is a lot of time. It is definitely a lot of time. So Rhythm J, thank you so much for recognizing the time I'm putting into these projects. So that's pretty cool. Matt Jackson, $2. Yo, 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 yo. What's up, Matt? From down the street. I mean, literally like down, he lives like a mile from me. So what's up, Matt? Good to see you. And by the way, one of the things that I have been thinking about this morning, I don't think I'm gonna do it, but I'm probably gonna do it for my other channel. But I thought about doing extra content. This is a thought, extra content on Patreon. So I know a lot of people are doing Patreon, like just about every, it doesn't matter if you're a gamer or you are a, podcast or whatever, like it seems like everyone's doing Patreon these days. If you're not doing a podcast or something, you're doing something else extra. Because the YouTube space isn't immensely rewarding on a creator sense, right? So Patreon, their whole thing is like you do the work, and it's like 90% of the money actually goes in your hands, which is cool because when you deal with YouTube, it's not like that. When you deal with super chats, it's not like that, right? But it does help. So I was thinking about doing extra content and more in-depth content of the hustle on a Patreon page. I don't know how I would build the tiers or anything like that, but if I did build one and it wasn't too unreasonable, would you guys be interested? Let me know. Okay. Okay, next question, Ryan Greer. How long have you been married? Technically, about 9 years, technically. That's a big story for another time. Not many people know about the whole story, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, so here we go. Seymour V says, how long have you and your brother E-Money been friends? We've been friends our whole entire life, but until in the past 5 years, he has, well, I guess in the past 10 years, he's lived in Austin, maybe even longer, but he's lived in apartments and stuff like that. And then I think 4 years ago, the person in the house right next door to me passed away, not in the house, but at the hospital. And so my parents, with a vision of like, keep the family together kind of thing, decided to buy the house. So they bought the house next door to me, and E-Money basically, takes care of it and does all kinds of stuff. And yeah, so that's the kind of setup we got right now, and it's nice. My parents, I guess parents always want to give their children something that they didn't have, and my dad was like, it would have been nice if I had more time with my brother instead of him being in France. Like, I'm half French, half Filipino, so my dad is the French one, and he has, basically, and he was always like, it would have been such a better life, I think, if I hadn't worked so hard, and B, I had actually stayed closer to my brother. And so that hadn't happened, but he, I guess, made a move to see if that could happen between my brother and I, and it's been really good. Like, I love seeing Emerson all the time. He's a great brother, and I love videoing all the stuff with him because he's just a blast to hang out with, and he's so funny behind the scenes. Like, you guys have no idea behind the scenes the stuff that goes down, and it just is, I don't know, it's not even a breath of fresh air. It's the kind of stuff that most people should gravitate towards, like those kind of things, family and love instead of like money and status and stupid things. So just something to consider. Maybe I won't see the whole picture until my parents pass away, and then one day I'll realize what it's all been done for, but I don't know. I think I'm realizing it now. So anyways, yeah. Okay, so Educated Trading says, I vote cut your hair. All right, that's not quite a question, but it's a remark. It's funny, I had to read it. All right, let's go to Instagram, and then there are 10 comments here, and then maybe a couple from the feed, and I say I gotta go, but like it literally just like sleeted here in Austin, like big time. And I'm still thinking like I want to do a bike ride, right? It's probably like 32 degrees outside, but I still want to. The Chris McFly says, when's the next San Diego meetup? Okay, so it's probably gonna be sometime in August. That's all I know right now. I'll be heading to San Diego to see my parents, and we do it. It's just an annual summer trip that we do. So probably sometime in August, and more than likely we'll just do probably 3 thrift stores and like a coffee or something like that. And then if someone wants to go surfing with E-Money and I, we can do that as well. But yeah, that's gonna be in August this year. This is a good question. Also, what's the next level to your hustle? Like, ever thought about scaling up? It's a really good question because there's so many things going on right now where to scale up your reselling, it can be FBA, it can be hiring people, you can do warehouse stuff, wholesale lots, drop shipping on eBay, drop shipping on Amazon. There's like a bazillion different things to do to scale up your resale business. So my main, thrills in life, and I guess maybe, I don't know. I don't want to go down a road and invest any time into something that, it's not that I'm not passionate about it. It's just that my real true calling, I think, has always been just extra side money and explaining it to people how easy it is to do it. But at the same time, I'm a creator. Like, I like creating funny things and vlogs and things like that. So I like doing that. It's just a sense of like getting my wife together, my brother together, maybe some random people sometimes come in the spaceship, and we just have a good old time. And I like things like that. So maybe I just haven't seen the whole chase money all the time. It hasn't just hit me, maybe it's going to hit me in 10 years, maybe it's going to hit me in 5 years, but I just don't care that much about a lot of money. Like, I just don't care, I care about what makes me happy. So that's one thing to the scaling up thing. But what does make me happy is the actual workout stuff, the fitness stuff, and really changing people on a mental and physical like fitness sense. So that's probably the next level of the scaling up, right? It's nothing reselling oriented, but it's something that I've been doing forever. So that's the answer to that question. I mean, if someone's looking at me like, oh, when's Bonafide going to have a 1,000 item eBay store, or when's he going to have 5,000 items in FBA, or when's he going to do store liquidations or something like that? Probably never. It's just because it doesn't really interest me as of now. And I could hire people and I can get that whole thing going, but that's just more time that detracts from the things that I know I should be doing. So there's only a certain amount of time in a day. And you just can't make more time. That's the bad thing about life, is you just can't buy more time ever. It's the one thing you cannot buy, no matter how rich you are. Okay. What else? All right. So JC Noodles says, hi, I've been selling for a couple of years as a hobby. I usually sell a couple $1,000s on eBay. I'm thinking about getting more serious, and my concern is to stay as a personal account or a business account. I would just stay personal until you actually are very serious about it and you have like significant amounts of sales coming through. Yeah, do a business account at that point. But as of right now, I don't want to say it like this, but like, one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to do it. So if you're thinking about getting more serious, then get more serious, right? And as you get more serious, you'll start to realize, like, all right, I gotta have this, I gotta have that, a business bank account, like all this kind of stuff. But until you get to jump to, point C, when you're still at point A, and you just gotta make the effort at point A to see if it's even sustainable. Because if it's not sustainable and you can't really work it into your life to have this amazing, multiple $1,000s of eBay, month coming through. If it's just not sustainable, that doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter about the personal account, business account, or anything like that. If it's not sustainable, it'll fizzle out regardless. So that's my personal opinion about that. Is put in the effort, see if it's doable. After several months of that, then I would do like maybe the business account. Once your numbers are significantly jumping up and stuff like that, then I would do it. Okay. All right, this is a really good question. So this is from Goody Mama 4. How would you advise to start promoting yourself or branding yourself on social media as a family of resellers? Even our youngest child looks for cheddar, and we use our profits to travel. Oh, it's such a good thing. I love that. Mostly to Disney World several times a year. Jeez. Would you start on platforms like Instagram or jump right into YouTube? All right, so here's the thing about YouTube. I would get into both, because Instagram and YouTube are kings right now. Until something like maybe Twitch gets outside of like big things like gaming or something like that, I think that YouTube and Instagram are kind of almost untouchable at this point. And so there's no real reason to speculate anything outside of those two places to make yourself known or to start building your content. Now, content is the other key to this puzzle, is that you have to build content, and content can be just as simple as really awesome posts with high value, or short videos, or snippets, or building storylines on Instagram or whatever, or even longer type videos on YouTube, which sometimes you have to get, you start a YouTube channel, then you have to get, how do I say, approval to do longer videos, get approval for monetization, approval for super chat. There's like a bazillion things you have to get approval for. So if this is what you want to do and you like and you love it and it's your passion, then yeah, you have to use social media for sure. There's no other way to do it. And if you're a family of resellers, then what I would do is to really think of the storylines within what you're filming and make it like a quest or something fun, and build these people's, I mean, how do I say it? Make the character development very interesting throughout the series somehow, you know? And I think you'll have a winner. So, you know, maybe the youngest child's all about picking up Barbie stuff or Nerf guns or something like that. So then, you know, in order to test them, you have to do a fake Nerf battle at the end of the video or something crazy. I don't know, but that's where my mind goes, because it keeps people really engaged. And, you know, if they find the same person buying a Nerf gun 50 videos from now, they're expecting the Nerf battle and all the craziness at the end of the video, and it keeps them hanging along for the end, you know. Now, that's saying a video usually in your beginning infancy stages should be probably no more than maybe 5 to 7 minutes long. But as you get more people that will stay and chill and like watch, and you've built your plots correctly and your character development correctly, then you can have videos in the 15-minute range, 30-minute range, actual full-blown vlogs, you know. But I would just keep it kind of tight at first. A lot of high editing in the first parts, you know, to keep it tight. So yeah, both platforms. And I would definitely pick a name that you can grow into. So I wouldn't just call it like Goodwill Thrift Family. And then like, what happens if Goodwill closes down one day, you know, for example. So you don't want to do that. You probably want to put like, you know, Thrift Champ Family or something like that. Something, I don't know, just something that's very evergreen that you can just grow into. Yeah, or you can call it Thrifty Living with 4, you know, if there's 4 people in your family, I don't know, something like that. Okay. All right, so what do we got here? William Lane, how can you tell the value of a bike at a thrift store if there are no listings for it? Okay, if there are no listings for it. All right, so first of all, 99% of the bikes that I pick up will be sold on local markets, Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Very few will make it to eBay. I have like 1 bike on eBay right now. So yeah, very few make it to eBay. So you're gonna be searching local listings like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist if you are, you know, in big bike towns like Austin, Portland, LA, San Diego, Tampa, things like that. So if it's a big bike town, you want to search the local market more than anything. So how can you tell the value of a bike at a thrift store if there are no listings for it? If there are no listings for it, doesn't mean it's inherently worthless, but it could be an indication that it's a very cheap bike and nobody wants it. So there are 2 pieces of the puzzle. You have to do some Google research and see. But if you're looking at a bike in a thrift store, you probably know a little bit about bike brands already. I do have a bike guide that can teach you a lot of this stuff, by the way. Check that out down below. Yeah, and by the way, on an upcoming video, I show you guys a really cool $10 bike frame that sold for $360 a couple days ago. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, and that was found at a church garage sale. So how can you tell the value of a bike at a thrift store? No listings. The thing is, it comes with experience, right? I'm a big biker, so I know a lot about bikes, and I can kind of tell just by looking at a bike. Like, I don't have to look it up at all. I'm just like, I know that'll sell in this town for $100, you know, and it might be $20 at the thrift store, for example. It comes with experience, and it comes with some pretty basic research. Okay. Pat Smith, 1117 question: 3 months into reselling on eBay. We have 3 little ones at home, and money is tight right now. Any advice on sourcing on a strict budget? Yes, go to more garage sales and more yard sales and things where the prices are variable, that's for sure. Or go to thrift stores and make sure you time it with these special coupon days or tag, you know, colors or whatever. Other part of this question says, right now, where typically takes the profit, we typically take the profits to pay for bills and have little left over for more capital. Thank you from Ohio. You can also scout things like Nextdoor, where people tend to typically, there's a good chance of like underpriced stuff on Nextdoor. Same with Facebook Marketplace. You can source from Craigslist and things like that. You got to understand a couple things. Shooting out offers doesn't hurt you at all, right? Shooting out offers is a way to make money when you're just kind of sitting at home doing nothing. And you can do it right from a cell phone. You can shoot out all these offers for random things. Let's just say that we're talking about a Yeti cooler, Yeti Tundra 45. The average market price that sells in Austin, Texas is around $200, right? So if you see somebody like, it's like, oh, new with tags, I won in a contest, like 150. Already, you're probably thinking, oh, I can make 50 bucks on that. But if you negotiate just a little bit, any amount of negotiation will go right into your pocket at that point, because if you can take a brand new Yeti Tundra, for 150 and put it on Craigslist, let's say a week later, right? Or Facebook Marketplace for $200, you've made 50 bucks, right? But this cooler is also around $300 to $350. Like if you go to Academy or Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever, you might be able to get more, who knows? But if you take a second and maybe you offer, let's say 140, 120, right? That's an extra 10 bucks or extra 30 bucks in your hand. And all you have to do is go pick it up. So that's just a clear example of just what goes on in those kind of avenues. And I did take a higher priced example. I apologize. But you have to think about all the ways that you can get some good, cheap stuff. And Nextdoor app is pretty good. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist is good for that. There's a free section too. You can resell free things. So check that out. But of course, I don't think anything trumps a good garage sale or yard sale or something like that. That's the best place to get good stuff. Flipping cents in $2 gave me $2. You guys ever hit up 6th Street? Yeah, we go there. I've spent so many years on 6th Street, probably close to a decade of my life going to those bars. So, well, I'll take that back. The very first time I went to 6th Street, when I had a fake ID, I think I was 17 and was going into a bar that was 18-year-olds. So, okay, 17. And by the time I was done with 6th Street, I think I was around 23, maybe 4. Okay, so it's like 7 years of my life I spent at 6th Street, and then I spent maybe 3 to 5 years of my life in another district of town, like just going to bars and stuff. That's just what young professionals did, or college students do in Austin, Texas. There are a lot of bars here, and all the bars bring the mayhem and the pretty ladies and stuff. So you have to go party. It's just what all the cool people do, and it was fun. I'm not just like a follower. Like I legitimately enjoyed all of it, and it was just awesome. So I wouldn't take it back for the world. And I have a feeling if I didn't do it then, I would have probably done it now. So I'm really glad I took that out of my system early. Thank you so much for the $2, flipping cents into $2. Yeah, the Jackalope. There's so many people. If you've been to 6th Street, name a bar. Let's see if you know. Well, one person has named a bar. Okay, this guy, Evan, what's a good place or way to find profitable books to sell on Amazon FBA that I and others might not be thinking of? Garage sales are probably the best place to find good books for Amazon FBA. So when you're at a garage sale, go take a look at those, like all those things, like the cookbooks, like the design books, fashion books, all kinds of stuff like that are at garage sales. And if you have a split second, maybe there are not many garage sales down the road, then you can spend a little bit more on the one that you're at, and you can go through all the stuff that has barcodes in there. But yeah, books, Chilton manuals, Hayes manuals, all those kind of things sell pretty decent on Amazon FBA, especially when you're dealing with older vehicles and manuals that, let's say, don't have much marking up in them or grease marks or something like that. Yeah, so I would do that. I'm not a big Amazon bookseller, but I have sold books on Amazon before, and magazines, I guess. You can find them apparently at book sales, but apparently I think it's very competitive at those kind of places as well. So that's as much as I know about that, Evan. I'm sorry if that doesn't answer your question fully. Benediction says, what are some good, healthy, on-the-go things to eat while sourcing to not completely destroy my diet? Fantastic question. It's kind of stuff I really care about. So assuming that you're sourcing for a pretty long time, maybe an all-day kind of thing. So let's say you're sourcing for 6 to 8 hours. I would eat really big before you go out the door. And then I would bring probably a snack with you. So, like a healthy bar of some sort that has a good amount of, if you're a male, has a good enough amount of protein to, sustain lean muscle on your body. So yeah, get into some protein bars that you buy on Amazon. I mean, you can buy them at stores, but they might be like $3 a piece. You can buy it on Amazon. You might be like per bar, it comes out to like $1.20 or something. So right then and there, you save money, and you have something that's a go-to thing right in your car, so you don't go to like freaking Burger King or something, for example. But what can you do to eat while sourcing? So there are a couple places like that are relatively healthy to eat while you go out sourcing. One is Chipotle. Chipotle generally has really good ingredients and good items. The other place, if you know what to get, would be Chick-fil-A. All right, so Chick-fil-A has grilled chicken nuggets. They're not too bad for you. They have salads and stuff like that, so you can go there and get a pretty good, fix. But if you want to save money and get a good fix, then you're probably going to have to do what's called pre-cooking your meals, and you put them in Tupperwares and things like that. So at that point, I would be thinking grilled chicken, some veggies, some wild rice, things that taste good, but nothing fried or anything like that. Some healthy meatballs, grass-fed meats. You definitely want to have a good balance of proteins, carbs, and some healthy fats. The best healthy fat probably on the road would be like an avocado, but you would want to cut that in your car and not cut it before, because then it starts spoiling once it's in the Tupperware. And then while you're outsourcing and you don't want to completely destroy your diet, but you want to keep your energy kind of high, then good fruits like bananas, or maybe a Ziploc bag of raspberries or blueberries or something like that, or even trail mix, for example, can be pretty good. But if you start getting the trail mix that has a lot of that dried fruit in there, or if let's say it has a lot of M&Ms in there, it's not as good for you. I mean, you'll probably blast right through a bag. So you have to be careful with that. You want to get trail mix with good ingredients, and not a terrible amount of dried fruit in there. Okay. What else we got here? Here's a question from Virginia Miller. How do you find people to go to yard sales with, or bins or thrift stores, without getting competitive with each other? I don't know. You can go to Facebook groups and probably find those kind of people all day. You can also keep your eye out on thrift stores and just look for people that you know are resellers. I can tell a reseller from a mile away, right? And then approach and be like, hey, like, cool, what are you in? Like, you're obviously in this thrift store. You probably live in town. Maybe we should go to thrift stores one day. You can do something like that. But Facebook groups are probably one of the best places that you can find those kind of people. That's probably where you can find it. But yeah, look for resellers wherever you go to in the thrift stores, and just go up to them, find someone that maybe like kind of looks your age, and then go up to them and be like, hey, you're a reseller too, cool. Where's a good place to go? Blah blah blah. Like, do you mind showing me the place? Like, or they can give you at least a really good heads up on like some of these other thrift stores that you might not be seeing, which is kind of cool. Gorilla Picker says, Chris, does the number of megapixels on a camera dictate the quality of the pic, or is it proper placement and lighting? If the sun is out, natural light outside better than a light setup. They're both. That's both pretty good. He says, I have noticed the rainbows of colors that a lighting kit can distort the true color of the item. Yes. So here's the thing. If you ever get a chance, nothing's going to trump good evening light. And to answer his first question, does the number of megapixels on the camera dictate the quality of the pic? Not necessarily, because what dictates the quality of the pic typically is the sensor on a camera. So I can give an example. Like, I used to have a Nikon D5200. I think it was, no, there was one before that I had, and it shot like a 10 megapixels or something like that. But the sensor was so good, it let so much light in, that a 10 megapixel camera on that looks so much better than a 16 megapixel something like this, for example, right? It just trumped it so hard. Now, when it came to expanding it, there's a little bit finer detail in this, but to the naked eye, you would think the one with the lesser megapixel was better because the sensor was better. It allowed for more light, or the f-stop was just much lower. So if I were you, if you're gonna, use this for eBay pictures and stuff like that, try to get a used, T3i, or I use a NEX F3 Sony, which I think you can grab for like $200. Interchangeable lens kind of camera, has a flip out flash if you want to. And then, yeah, if you have, the luxury of taking your pictures outside, which I used to, and now I just take my pictures inside. I have a gym with like a bazillion lights in it, and that's how I shoot my pictures now. But he's right. If you have the wrong angle with these like fluorescent type lights, then it's easy to get a distorted color of the item, which sucks, because like a tan might look super beige, might even look yellow. Hell, it could even look orange with certain lights. So you have to be real careful with that, because when someone on eBay sees that kind of stuff, they're like, oh, cool, like an orange hat, when it's really like a tan corduroy hat, for example. You gotta be careful. But yeah, usually that would never happen if you were outside shooting in evening time, not high sunlight or anything like that. So if you ever have the luxury of shooting in the evening time, do it. It's usually about a good golden 1 1 to 2 hours to shoot in evening time if you have something blocking the direct sun. Okay, last one. This is at least from Instagram. Yeah, right? Yeah. How do you brand a logo to put on the cover of your eBay store? Do we have to get it copyrighted or trademarked or anything to make our store more presentable? I'm just going to give you a site that you should look into. Figure out what kind of pixels you got to deal with to get this banner created. I don't know if it's a 1600 by 400 or if it's 1260 by 780. But either way, go to canva.com, canva.com. Play around with it a little bit, pick a decent background, and pick a cool, like, just trust me, go to canva.com. As long as you know what the storefront dimensions are, there's a couple ways you can figure it out. You can go to Google and try to figure it out, or you can also kind of right-click, inspect element. This is kind of tech, it gets kind of techy, but you can right-click, inspect element, and you can see kind of the code of what the web page is built at, and you can figure out the pixels of the banner that way too. But just go into Google, you can figure that out. But it's probably like a 1600, 400, more than likely, something like that. And then if you go to the top right of Canva, once you create an account, it's a free account. The top right, it says custom dimensions. You put 1600 by 1400, go, and then you can just start designing your background just like that. Super easy to do. 1200 270 is by a speed blur set. Okay, so it's a 1200 by 270. He literally just made mine 15 minutes ago. All right, show. All right, so let's look at this comment from Kim Zahn. Greetings from Sweden. Never heard of a MIPS helmet. Yeah, so MIPS is not a technical, like an actual helmet, but it's a technology in a bike helmet that allows for a rotating kind of pad that goes on your head. It rotates with the helmet. So like when you get a crash, it's not an impact directly, like it's slide impacts. It goes like this and it slides. It's like almost like a glancing blow, but it keeps it keeps your head not getting the entire impact. So if you ever see a bicycle helmet out there that has MIPS technology, and MIPS, the logo is like a yellow logo, it's like a circle. If it ever has MIPS technology, that's the difference between a helmet that might be like 40 bucks, you know, brand new, to like $300 brand new. Like it's a pretty big jump. When you have MIPS, it's like, that's like the next level of helmets. So anyways, it's pretty awesome. I have one MIPS helmet right now. When am I going to wear a man bun? I think this is technically a man bun right here. Beatology is what he's asking that. Yeah, so Matt Jackson says you can go to Canva. You can just select YouTube thumbnail. The thing with YouTube thumbnails, it might not be the same as the eBay store banner width and size and pixel count. So you can, I don't know, if you can figure it out, which it looks like 1200 by 270 is the actual number, then when you're in Canva making your eBay banner, go to the top right and put 1200 times 270. Thriller Gorilla Picker, will I ever get another super bike? Oh, I guess he's talking about like a leader bike, like an R1 or something like that. Maybe. Hasn't really interested me very much as of right now. I think if I have a 5-year goal on a vehicle that I want, it'll probably be like a 71 or 72 Blazer, you know, like a really nice one. I'm talking like fully restored, probably every bit of like 30 grand, you know, like a pretty big, it'd be a pretty big deal, because I don't know if it would go down in value. I wouldn't assume it would go terribly down in value, but it would have to be indoor kept. Yeah, so that's something that I kind of want, but you know, it's just one of those things. I just see it in my future, an orange 71 or 72 Blazer with like 35-inch tires and a roll bar. Like, it just, I don't know. I've always liked them. They're cool, and they're very timeless, neat trucks that age very well, you know. And it seems like the market always wants one of those. Like when they come up for sale, it's like everyone pounces on them, a good one at least. So we'll see. Jose Montañez says, hey brother, how's it going? Been a long time viewer. Never been able to, only able to chime in on your live shows one other time. Love the awesome content you posted. How do you feel about shipping with DHL? And then having the, I don't know what else he wrote, but I don't usually do much DHL stuff or freight stuff like that. When I think of DHL, I'm thinking of freight. My package was actually delivered by USPS, ordered a relay for my 2011 4Runner, and yeah, I don't mess with DHL. Like when I do any kind of like eBay shipping, it's all FedEx and USPS every single time. I don't do any other shipping outside of those two things. FedEx, USPS, and then UPS for Amazon. Yeah, so that's my answer to that. I don't know too much about DHL, honestly. All right, what else we got here? Any more questions? I'm going back into the feed here to see if I can answer any of these. Edgar Cachola says, do I ever sell bikes on eBay? Yeah, but it has to be the right bike, so I do, but it's very, very seldomly. Any more questions, let me know. What kind of weather is it outside? It's probably like 32. It just sleeted, so kind of sucks because like the other day it was like 75 and perfect riding weather. Mark says, did you have tacos today? I did not, but tacos will be in my direct future, aka tomorrow. All right. Any more questions? Let me know. Okay. Sandy Stelhe says, what are the basics needed to start up reselling? I think the most important thing is to get your bank accounts lined up with PayPal and eBay and link all those things together. I can't even tell you how to do it because I did it like so many years ago. I mean, like, I think I started my eBay account like 06 maybe, or even before that. It could be before that. I'm not 100% sure. So I can't, remember that. But you want to definitely saturate yourself with good YouTube videos. You want to try to find yourself in a good multiple amounts of Facebook groups that are not complaining a whole bunch. That's the tricky part. Is you want to be around Facebook groups that don't complain. And yeah, so you have to find that. And then figure out what YouTube channels that you like the most, see what kind of paid content they have behind the scenes or whatever, and jump on it. Like, so if you align with a channel, you can go do mentoring through them. You can do all kinds of stuff. They usually have paid options behind the scenes. I have many paid options behind my scenes. I have guides galore. I have a book. We have the green room behind the scenes. And that's just one of your options, for example. But there are plenty other people, whether it be Rockstar Flipper or Rally Roots or Nicole State or any of these people that have paid things behind the scenes. So watch all of their videos, watch my videos, their videos, see who you align with the most and what kind of goes with your personality, and then consider kind of like the fast track to becoming a better reseller or becoming a reseller, full-blown reseller. Thriller Gorilla Picker, did I ever surf in Corpus Christi, Texas? I had before. It wasn't anything like memorable, so I can't really say much about it, honestly. The funny thing is when I went to North Carolina last year, like June maybe, I'm not 100% sure. I went to the Outer Banks. So I was just north of Kitty Hawk or something like that called, I think Corolla, or maybe it was Duck. I don't know. It was one of these little towns. And the day that I came in, man, it was crazy because it was really blowing and gusting and everything like that. And then the very next day, the storm was passing, but the swell was still there, something like that. Or maybe the swell was coming. I can't remember, but I just remember that it was super awesome surf for like one day. And I was so pumped to actually had rented a board and I capitalized on it. And I spent like hours in the water while the whole entire like family vacation was going on the beach. Like I just like lost myself in the water. It was so much fun. And I hit some really good waves. I think a couple of those waves made it to my Instagram, but anyways, pretty cool. I love surfing. I think in the grand scheme of things, if I didn't live here in Austin, Texas, I would live by a beach. I'd probably surf my life away. I probably would, because it's that fun. But I think I like it so much because there are so many variables going on at once that when you finally catch a wave and you drag your hand on the side of it and it feels like a water wall, or you are able to do a couple cutbacks or fun stuff or whatever, like I just feel as if so many things had to align to get that one thing right. And it's a very triumphant kind of feeling, So if you haven't surfed out there ever, and you're not like disabled by any means, I would say take all the necessary measures to learn it. It's so much fun. And Billabong has a saying that they've had for many decades, maybe 3 decades now. It's called "Only a surfer knows the feeling." That is like on their stickers, on their shirts. Only a surfer knows the feeling, and it's definitely the Strella for sure. So if you don't know about my brand, you'll figure it out. Aaron Kluge, some more good questions are coming in, so I'm just gonna answer them. How long does it take a person in relatively good shape to get ripped? you can get ripped pretty quick, probably 2 to 3 months, like super ripped. Because if a person's in relatively good shape, they're probably 10% away in, let's say, in a body weight sense. So if you're 200 and you're relatively good shape, if you're 180, you would be pretty ripped. As long as you don't lose muscle, like you'd be pretty ripped. So someone like myself, I got up to 204 at the highest part of my bulk. Last year when I was super ripped, I was 187.9 or something like that, and I was like mega ripped. So for people that don't work out, this might not interest you whatsoever, but the ability to control the human body both up and down, and bulk and push a lot of weight and feel powerful, and then like get super lean and super ripped, where it's like, oh man, I could be in Fight Club. Like that's a fun thing to do. Like I like that for some reason, and my wife likes it too. I just think that it could, with the right kind of maybe supervision or guidance, that could be done 2 to 3 months pretty accurately, because you could definitely lose 10% of your body weight in 2 to 3 months if you're in good shape, and it will be sustainable too, which is cool. Okay. Oh God. Brad Kessler, what's up, buddy? Never Ending Story 2, yay or nay? Okay, first of all, I've never seen it, and second of all, I'm probably never going to see it, because I don't think you could ever trump it's like Goonies 2. Like, no, like don't even build a Goonies 2. It's not worth it, right? Maybe a remake, okay, I might watch it, but it's still not gonna be as good as original Goonies. I'm trying to think right now of actual movies that were 100% better now than the original, like, picture. Like they're making Top Gun, for example. I can't see it being better than the original Top Gun. I don't know if it comes out next year or this year, but I know it's being made. And I think Tom Cruise now plays the character that Tom Skerritt played in the original one. He's going to be like the Top Gun school instructor guy. That's just what I've read. There's another movie, let's say Point Break, for example. All right, so I'm a huge Point Break fan. Like, there we go. The remake, it's fun to watch, but it's no Point Break, right? I'm sorry, it's just not as good. Now, if I have to think about like a remake that was better than the original, although I haven't seen the original, I've heard that maybe Ocean's 11 is better than the original Ocean's movie. Like there was one way back in the day, so maybe that one was better. I mean, I liked it a lot. Now they've made like Ocean's this and that, and like a bazillion Oceans, or here's Ocean's 8. I don't know, but the first of the Ocean's movie, yeah. And then maybe Catch Me If You Can. I could have sworn that was maybe another one that was redone. And then I know they've redone Westworld on HBO, which was pretty good. Season 1 was just blew my mind. So awesome. So, very few can pull it off, honestly. Like, and so Never Ending Story 2, I've read reviews about it, and everyone's just like, don't watch this movie. It's so stupid. So I love Never Ending Story 1. I love it. Yeah, I think it's one of the greatest movies ever. Any more questions? All right. Most importantly, how is it being the brother of the very awesome E-Money? It's really good to be his brother. He's such a good brother. I couldn't ask for a better brother. He is the best brother I could have ever had. Upstate New York thrifters, Bonafide, do you pay for your booth monthly? I'm wondering how they work. Yeah, so I pay it monthly. It's basically called booth rent. I write it off. But yeah, it's X amount of money paid to the front of the antique mall, and people walk around finding things, while I'm not there, and assuming that everything's tagged up with booth tags. Each booth tag will have the description of the item, a price, and then the booth that it came from. People take items from booths all around the mall, and they bring it to the head desk, and the head desk flips the tag, looks at it, goes, all right, this one came from this booth, that booth, blah, 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 and they pay all the booth people accordingly, but they take 10% on top of the monthly rent, which is variable, which varies on square footage, of course. So if you have a really good sized booth, it's going to be more than something that's like a really tiny, like boxcar looking, booth. Corner booths are always really good. High traffic corner areas, super good. Did they ever make a Never Ending Story 3? Crap, I don't know, but I don't think I'd ever watch that one either. All right, so Casey Snipes says, I watched 1 or 2 episodes of season 2 Westworld. I'm not impressed. I'm the same way. I couldn't get past the very first episode for some reason, but season 1 Westworld is just phenomenal. So good. Red Neckerson's resales. Ask your question again. I don't know if I saw it. Let me know. Favorite movie of ever? Question mark. God, that's a really big question. I don't know. Like if it came on the TV and it's like no matter when it came on, no matter when I see it on TV, like I could keep watching it. I think Goonies is in there, but I mean, Point Break is so good. Like, I don't know. I really, really, really like Point Break a lot. I think it just has a lot of similarities to, I don't know, just a little fun life, you know? So I just think it's a great movie. Cycle Pro Coronado 5 single speed. Coronado 5. Gosh, you know what's weird? I had a Cycle Pro like not too long ago. Let me look at this Coronado 5 real quick. Cycle Pro Coronado 5. Yeah, Cycle Pro is not the greatest brand ever, but some of their bikes are being used to make these things called clunkers. Yeah, okay, so I see this bike, the Coronado. It's a cool bike, and people are starting to do these clunker type things on it. So it is it's a pretty desirable bike to pick up. I mean, a Cycle Pro like that one, and there's another one called a Custom Cruiser, which I did have one, but then I traded my friend across the street for a dirt bike. But yeah, the Custom Cruiser and this Coronado one, if you have one, you can list it, let's say on eBay or something like that, and make sure you put the term clunker in there, Klunker, Klunker, and then 26 cruiser, all those kind of things are very important terms or keywords to put as well. But that's pretty cool. Yeah, if you have a Coronado single 5-speed, you should check out this Custom Cruiser by Cycle Pro, and those are like way awesome looking. But the whole clunker movement is kind of paying homage to back in the day. I don't know if it was Gary Turner. No, it was the other guy. It was Gary Fisher and some other people. But yeah, they basically took cruiser bikes and they started going down mountain biking trails. Or no, they started going down like fire dirt roads with them. And they were always braking and stuff like that. And so they were always clunking around and stuff. So they would start putting motocross pieces on it, like more durable pieces than the cruiser bike had when the original cruiser bike pieces would blow up and everything. They put like, you know, motorcycle like handle grips and all kinds of stuff. And these bikes became Frankenstein bikes. And then they started holding these like downhill meets for these bikes. And all these people, just raggedy, you know, live in the dirt kind of people with flannels would come and just bring their like clunker type bikes. And they would all just see who's like the king of the downhill, right? And so it's, I don't know if it was in the 70s or the 80s, but I want to say maybe the late 70s. It was just this like big thing, almost like underground rock climbing back in the day, or even underground surfing. The people just basically were kind of like dirtbags, you know? And this whole thing has like slowly reborn to present day now. And these clunker bikes are coming back around, not full force, but a little bit. Even companies have been making like clunker specific type bikes. There's even one brand called Transition that makes a bike called the Clunker, which is a simple single speed cruiser with a coaster brake that is built super, super awesome. So yeah, if you have a Cycle Pro, you know, cruiser, you can say Clunker Project or something like that. You can make something like that on there. Paid $6 for it. So yeah, you might want to put that on eBay. I don't know. Like for me, if I had a Cycle Pro like Coronado, I'd throw it on eBay north of $500 with the words Clunker Project, something like that, because that's not an easy frame to find. So let me know. Cool. Okay, Bradley Kessler. Redneck Picker was an original YouTuber for the Resell clan. Can you name some more original YouTubers? You know, Global Voodoo, Katie Patton, Scraparella. There was a bunch back in the day. There was Trash Talking Treasures with Brent Ott, the Yankee Picker, I want to say. There's just a bunch of people out there. Oh, okay, I said there were a bunch. There's probably like 10. There were 10 people when I joined in, and now there's a bunch. And that's good. I like this. I love seeing the community grow, and I'm never going to hang my hand and go like, oh, I'm so much better than anybody else, because I'm not. And plenty of people have started way after I started, have way bigger channels than me. They went a different direction. It's just the way it is, you know. I just try to stay true to myself. And yeah, I've been on YouTube for around 6 years, and it's a lot of fun. So, all right, what else do we got? I'm not insinuating that no one else stayed true to themselves. Everyone stayed relatively true to themselves. They just went in different directions, and that's basically where it takes you. You know, we have Glenn Zubia with Hustler Hacks that deals with shoes, and Ross and TJ Maxx and stuff like that, all the way to people like Resell Rabbit that do pallet stuff and make, millions of views. And then we have people like Global Voodoo who does garage sales and storage things, and he's in Arizona. And each channel has done very well, and then there's mine that does garage sales and thrift stores with a funny kind of twist to it. And I tend to make longer videos than normal, and it's like, cool, like I like it. Jenny Rojas, I actually know that this number, but I won't say it. How much did you make off YouTube last year? Oh man, I can't say the answer to that, but it's okay. Okay, it's not great. I would say my total income YouTube was, oh man, if I had to just speculate, I'm going to speculate 7%. So I'm just going to say that. So of my total income. All right, so any more questions? Cool. Max Profit says, hey, how is everything? I'm still at a Goodwill, and I just purchased a radio for truck drivers for $4. Looks like the sold listings are $600. That's awesome. Very nice. Congratulations, man. Do I make more in super chats? That's coming from the Record Trader. No, I make more from just ads that are in videos. That's for sure. Now, that doesn't mean that super chats don't pay. It's just that I think with super chats, the creator walks with 30 or 40% of whatever is shown on the screen, something like that. No, the creator walks with like 50 or 60%, or maybe 60, 70%. It's not that amount that you see on the screen. It's some of that amount. Okay. Any more thrift battles coming? Yeah, maybe in the future. I'm not 100% sure, because right now, like, the main thing for me to plan is the green room meetup. Not so much the itinerary, but the actual green room dinner that goes down for the members. So trying to plan that out is not exactly very easy. Outside of that, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Mary DeLeon. Oh, that's a good question, man. What advice would you give yourself 5 years ago? If I could give myself advice 5 years ago, I would say just put all my eggs into the YouTube basket. I would have just done all that. I think that would have been the best thing to do, like everything. If I could go back 5 years, I would have told myself, go to focus on the fitness channel. I would have told myself that. And I'm not saying that to abandon this channel or anything like that, because it's certainly not what's going on. This channel does pay well. Anything associated with this channel pays very well. And, it's just something I like doing. So to me, it's almost effortless. But if I could give myself advice 5 years ago, I would definitely say put more work into that fitness channel than I had this channel, because that fitness channel, it's at 34,000 right now. Like, it probably, with the same amount of work that I did with this channel, it might have been in the million range or 2 million range. So, you can't, when you deal with stocks and investments, you can't be like, well, I should have traded Apple like last week when it was like blah, 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 and I would have made this much. Like, if you ever hear someone say that, like, run the opposite direction. That person does not know how to control anything in their life. Everything is a shoulda, woulda, coulda in their entire life, right? So I'm not going to look back at this and go, oh, now I feel like crap because I didn't do this 5 years ago or whatever. It's like, whatever's good now, make sure you take care of that. Like, right now, Instagram and YouTube are really, really big platforms that you can make a presence on, and you can take your hobby and you can make money out of it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And, if one of your hobbies has a way bigger audience or potential audience than another one, I would say right now, with what I know now, that put more eggs into the basket of the one that can make you the most money, let's in 5 years, for example. It's not all about money, but, money is the reward for working hard. And, this stuff is definitely work. It feels easy, right? But it's just still work. Anyway, you look at it, it's time consuming. And everyone would just love to be on a beach somewhere, sipping Mai Tais instead of pounding away at coffee shops all day long, or, going to thrift stores left and right. It just, it would be a better life, I guess, but might be boring after a while. So what I'm saying is, if you have a hobby and you really enjoy something, then make sure you pursue it relentlessly. And if you want a presence at it, and if you want the chance of making money at it later, then start now with YouTube or Instagram. That's just what I think. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And yeah, here's the last remark. Glow says, you can't do everything. Your fitness is, dang, your fitness clearly is a great payoff to your health and pocketbook. Yeah, so one day I think the fitness channel will pay off super well. But for right now, I'm happy with the way that the Hustler channel has panned out. I love you guys out there and gals. Hope to meet you guys in real life sometime. Got spotted twice, by the way, like last Wednesday when I was at thrift store. So that was really cool. I even got a selfie took, right? But that was a lot of fun. It's just always fun meeting people in the field that are like, you make YouTube videos, Imagine this scenario. Imagine going to a garage sale and the person that's hosting the sale goes, you make YouTube videos. Yeah, there goes all my bargaining power. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fun. And I would have never thought 5-6 years ago that I would be here now. Like, it's just a crazy life, hosted meetups, and wherever I go in America, it's like I can meet up with like-minded people because of the YouTube channel I've built. So if I could go back and change everything, I might not have any of this. Like, it might be totally different, So who's to say that it's like the Back to the Future thing, when I think in Back to the Future 2, they get an almanac or something like that, and they start betting on all these sports things, and then this like really bad future occurs or something happens. But anyways, like, who's to say that if you went back and redid it, that you would be as happy as you are today? I feel really good today, right? And I think that's the most important thing with what I know is just, attack any regrets sustainably, in the future, and stay happy. So important. That's the most important thing. Because if you're not unhappy and you're pursuing this like road that is unsustainable and you just know you're not happy, like, it just sucks. Like, why live that life? It doesn't make any sense. So anyways, that's pretty much it. Red Neckerson's resales for $1.88 right there on the super chat. Thank you so much. Max Profit for $4.99 on a super chat. Thank you very much. That is pretty much the broadcast. I probably talked for about an hour. Love hanging out with you guys and gals, but it's 32 degrees outside and Bonafide needs a bike ride. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'll see you on the next Bonafide Hustler ride along. I'm going to be filming a ride along tomorrow, so it should be a lot of fun. I'll be in Austin, Texas. If you're out about in the thrift stores, it's probably scheduled to rain tomorrow morning. So I'll be out in the thrift stores. I'll be having some fun, hopefully. And I'll be out there also, maybe just 1 or 2 garage sales. Maybe I'll run into you guys. Take it easy. Goodbye.